So this is my second attempt at this, and I am so sorry. I apologize for not being thorough enough the first time. And you're right. I did. There was some things that I did not have a strong understanding of, but watching the recording of Thursday's lesson was definitely helpful. I'm gonna. I'm debating adding this on to the last video, but I think I'm just gonna hurry through some of the. You saw in the last video me do everything that I'm showing you right now, so I won't spend too much time. But I'm running a paired samples t-test. Um, Actually, I've already done it, but just to show you very quickly, basically, I'm pairing game one with game two because I'm wanting to see if there's a statistical significance. So when I look at that, what I talked about last time was I think I mentioned the correlation because we had some help there, but then I think I also looked at the significance value. And that was like the only thing I considered. And the significance value in considering that is 0.054, which is greater than zero point 0.05, meaning that we accept the null hypothesis, but barely. However, one of the things that I should have done was consider the t-value. So what I'm going to do is compare the t-value here with my p-value. So I'm going to make a comparison. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the degrees of freedom, which is 19, of course, because there's 20 in our sample size. So there's 19 degrees of freedom. So I can look at my chart here, and I'm looking at 0.05 because that's the statistical significance value that we're considering, and the degrees of freedom is 19. And so, of course, the number that I see here when I'm considering both of those factors is 1.729. So the critical t-value is 1.729. So I need to be that or higher to suggest statistical significance. I need my t-value to be that or higher, my obtained t-value. So let me go ahead and come back to my chart. And since my t-value is 1.685, that's less than the 1.7 required, and some change required. So that's yet another indication that we don't really have a statistical significance in terms of the difference between the two scores. It's close, but it's not enough to be considered statistically significant. So just to kind of show you a little bit that I think I have an understanding of this, although my understanding may not be as in-depth as what it should be. But I found this website to be the most helpful for me in understanding what I'm referring to, that the table right here shows the critical t-value versus the obtained t-value. So if I'm just kind of looking at my data here and looking at the two tails, I've got this section here on either tail, and my critical value, if my actual t-value falls here within this portion of the data, then that's going to mean I have some statistical significance. But if it falls in here, it could be I don't want to say happenstance. That could just be that could have happened regardless of the 15 minutes. And so if I come into this range, we're looking at much more significant. Now, I could be saying that completely wrong. I apologize profusely if I am. Again, I'm looking at the two tail here versus, looking at the one here. But no matter how we look at it, we're doing that kind of comparison to check for statistical significance to see how likely it is that the coaching session in the case we're looking at made a difference. And so what we're finding would be that it did not make a statistical difference, because I've got, for two reasons. And I don't know, is it possible? This is a question I have. Is it possible that this significance value would have been under 0.05, but then yet we not meet the critical t-value? I don't think it could be. I think that this is close enough to 0.05 and this is close enough to my critical T value that there has to be I think, a correlation. Those are questions I still have. So is my understanding completely solid? Probably not. But I feel like it's solid enough that if I ran my data, I would be able to determine if there's a statistical significance or not.